Hello everyone, Sheek here with another Transformers review, and today I'll be reviewing the PS16 Volatus, Ocular Max's take on Blastoff. And he is pretty cool. I do like him a little bit more than Impetus, their take on Vortex, just because he's not as finicky when it comes to, I mean, that's not to say that there aren't any issues when it comes to transforming. He's just a little more straightforward. Anyway, I guess I'm blabbering on a little bit. But pretty much the same thing with the hands. The fingers are on a hinge, thumb is on a ball joint. Relatively small hands, which is why I'm scared to mess with them a whole lot. Head is quite nice, I like that head sculpt. And face, he does look a little mean, but I mean, he is a Decepticon, so why not?
The head is on a ball joint. It's a lot up and down, quite well compared to most figures, a lot of wibbly wobbly. And he doesn't have that double hinge, sort of like Vortex, so not as much there. Arms can go out that far. Can do a full 360, bicep rotation, wrist rotation, although like on most of the, like on Vortex, they are a little bit stiff, and then waist swivel, ab crunch, thigh rotation. You can do the full splits, about 90 degree bend at the knee, just under, and then no ankle tiltage
to speak of, which is fine. It's not really a deal breaker. Also, another thing you need to be careful of, especially when transforming back into robot mode because of the flaps. There are tabs to hold these together, so if they happen to be tabbed together, or they just happen to line up and lock in robot mode, you need to make sure that you untab it before you try to do that, because you could snap something off or stress something out, which is why I generally try to make sure that when he is in robot mode that they're flared out slightly, so there's no realistic way for that to happen. There is a nice little detail here. There is a faux tail fin, which I think is funny that they decided to include. So that's pretty nice. I do like the design. I mean, I've noticed that almost all these in both modes, from what I can gather, tend to really reflect well on their cartoon model, even though the vehicle modes are meant to look a little more realistic than the cartoon models. Here's his little handgun. Very small, little dinky thing. And you can fold that up. And that's for weapon storage, which I'll show once I get him turned into his spatial mode. Here is his character card, Volatus Space Warrior, and he does have a superiority complex and does not like working with any other robots, and yeah, so that's pretty much it for the character card. So let's go ahead and get him transformed into his space shuttle mode.
First thing you want to do is just close up his hands, open, rotate down, rotate, flip in, rotate out, and just close up, and then flip that around. There we are. Rotate like so, get lined up, and there's lines right here. And one thing you want to make note of is that there is a tab on the other side, or a peg that goes into that little other part of the landing gear, and you want to make sure that gets lined up so that you don't inadvertently stress that out, which is this peg right there on his arm. The arm's ready to go. Rotate around so that they're really ready to go, and then flip these up. I want to be careful with this part because they don't really have the clearance to move a whole lot yet. I just want to get those a little out of the way. Flip this up, and you rotate these out. Like I said, it's a faux tail fin, so that they just kind of just go in there like that. And then if you can just flip those up right there, might be a little hard to see, but right in there, flip those up, and then just going to get this. Oh. Actually, you might want to flip that up first, just so we can get his head in there. And then, get this, get out of the way. There we are. Now that allows for more clearance to rotate this out of the way. Now, get that straighten back up. Oh, come on. There we are. Okay, and now there is one part that is, hold on, no, that's not. Okay, there we are. There's just a little bit of resistance to get that rotate down, and rotate here, and if you'll notice, like I said, with that peg, just make sure that it is lined up. There we are. And for this to go into here, you want to get this rotate, and this is definitely a very tricky game because you need to get these into there, but it has to be rotating. You kind of have to finagle it to get in there. I think that's enough so you can push that in just a little bit and then pull that out. That's what I did. That was the trick. And so you just have that pushed in a little bit, even though, there we are. So you probably rotate that around and pull them out, but the thing is that they won't. Anyway, I got that pretty much done. That's the only part that really frustrates me on this guy, but not so much as on Vortex. Let me just collapse that back in. and then collapse the nose, and you pretty much got the front of this done. And there's only really one thing that's done differently to get into the combined mode up here. It's just flipping that out. Other than that, you pretty much just leave the upper part alone, and you can also rotate these up place for the wings and all that. Okay, now for the legs. And one cool thing about the legs is that the tail fin actually covers up the combined hand mode in vehicle mode, or not vehicle mode, robot mode, I should say. There we are. Just get that hooked out. Don't necessarily want to press it down quite yet, because there's still some stuff that you gotta mess around with over here. Just lift that up. Oh wait, before I do that, you also need to do that. You also want to untap this first, just so you don't stress that out, because that. Alright, there we go. Get that untabbed so you can flex this open, so you can then get this part flipped out. I will say, after trimming my nails, because I got pretty messed up yesterday, messing with all these guys, it is a bit harder to do the necessary motions and flip that in. And you just close that back up. You don't necessarily need to flip that out yet, but it can help. And so you extend this out. Make sure it's extended. There we are. And then the feet, which is pretty cool. I like the way they did this. Just tab in like that. And then extend this out. Then rotate that around. Then the other side, pretty much just a mirror image of this. Alright, now I've got both legs ready to go. Just get the legs lined up. And this is the tricky part. Just like on Vortex, is just getting everything nice and squozen together. Yeah. And sometimes it does help to have the wings folded up, but not that much. Come on. I don't know why, but they're so hard to get lined up just right. And I will admit, some of these tabs, I am concerned that they could get stressed out and break at some point. The problem is knowing exactly what needs adjusted to get it to cooperate. There we are. Okay. Just pretty much just fiddle with it until you get it to fit just right, and then squeeze together. And then up here, you need to flip these little pieces out right there. And then make sure you flip these out, because remember, again, the tabs don't want to stress them out. You close that up, tab in, and of course you want to make sure that the legs are lined up, even though they're tabbed together. Just and then do those tabs like puzzle pieces. Honestly, some of these tabs do make me think of puzzle pieces. And these are the landing gear. I don't necessarily like the panel landing gears, but hey, it's better than not having any landing gear. And then, let's see, go ahead and close up the top panels. And then, go ahead and rotate this back. Now, generally, it's probably better to go from the top. So it will then tab in like that. Then you take this panel right here. See, the nail's non-existent. Cannot get finger. There we are. So flip that out. It's just a tiny little gap filler, but I guess it does help make the difference. There, flip. There we are. Flip around. Just get this rotated around and tabbed in. And then front landing gear. Just pull down like that. And here, and I forgot to do the weapon storage. Hang on. So you get these popped up. And it just slides in. You'll see that there's a little peg, or a little hole. It might be a little dark and hard to see, but there's a little hole right there that this slides into. There we are. Slides in. And there it is. And then you can just close that back up.
And I do like his weapon storage, I think the most out of all of them, because his actually just disappears in his vehicle mode. Because, space shuttles were not actually, craft of war or anything, although I think it's honestly funny that they made him a space shuttle, but I still think he's pretty cool. Very clean space shuttle mode, especially when you put up these landing gear. Very, very clean, just not standard spaceship colors, or space shuttle colors. So that's about it for his space shuttle mode. So next thing to do is, well, get him into his combined limb mode.
Alright, first thing, just want to kind of just get this untabbed and flip it around and then tab in up here. Tab, flip around, tab in, and then I want to just get this popped open again, and then remove the gun from storage. I'm sure I'll get in the way of the articulation of the arm, so I'll put the gun off to the side. And then you just pretty much get everything else untabbed, untabbed, and then untabbed. This is just to make a little bit more room, just so you can move everything around. And then you just, as much as it pains me, split the legs. And then, since so like this, just go ahead and undo that, flip this out, then close this back up, sort of like you would for robot mode. Then put that in. Then I really don't like the squeaking of that one snap right there, tab. Same on this side. We just flip out, close up, flipping that tab back in, and then for the hands, I'll just try to get that wiggled up for now. And then you want to open this up, and then open this up, push the hand out, and wiggle this inside. Thought it closes up on you. Rotate in, then flip this out and close up. Come on, there we are. Just have to get it positioned just so, in there. And then you want to collapse this pretty much as far as it will go. And then close that up. But it looks like it's not quite there. Okay, it is lined up. Okay. And also before I forget, just like with Vortex, you want to flip out the thumb prior to sticking the limbs back there. And then you just collapse that in and it sits nice and flush. Close that up. Pull this up, rotate this around, and it just tabs back into place up here, like it would for robot mode. Come on, there. And then, other side just the same, except you want to make sure you flip out the thumb. Alright, we got the legs ready to go. Well, I guess the legs of Blastoff ready to go, the arm for Bruticus ready to go. Now just close that all together. Wow, I guess I didn't mess up the leg positioning too much because they are actually going together quite nicely. And just close this back up. Make sure these get flipped out. It's probably not as essential for the combined mode, but hey, I want to look as streamlined as possible. And then the next thing, just get this flipped out. Of course, it's really stiff. There we are. And it clicks into place. And now we have ourselves an arm. And then you rotate this around just to get the arm in normal alignment. And there we go. Have Blastoff, or Volatus, in his combined limb mode.
And I'd say that looks pretty nice. And let's go ahead and, well, I would say go ahead and show off next to everything else, but I think that this is about it for this video or review. So if you like this and you'd like to see more, please click that like and subscribe button to see more. Until next time, have a good one, everyone.